Today we're checking out Sendera, a neighborhood in Southwest Austin. I'm going to tour 3 different homes that are currently available, give you my unbiased opinion on what the good and the bad, the ugly, and then just get a sense of Sendera, the neighborhood, the HOA fees, tax rates, utilities. You can see the beautiful lap pool behind me, so we're going to check all of that out right now. Hey, Daniel here, a local Austin area real estate expert. If you're thinking of making a move to the greater Austin area, be sure to subscribe to the channel so you can stay up to date on the latest real estate news. You know, as a band director before I jumped into real estate, I found that the values and skills that helped me succeed as a teacher transferred over very well into real estate. Honesty, effective communication, having a good work ethic, and truly caring about other people and their goals is still really important to me. So it doesn't matter if you're looking to move in 9 days or 90 days. You can give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, or schedule a Zoom call. Love to help you and your family find a great home in the greater Austin area. So today we are checking out Sendera. Like I said, we're in Southwest Austin. A few things about Sendera, kind of walk around. We're kind of on the outskirts of the neighborhood, so you're not really getting a great view of it, but maybe I talk long enough, we'll get to the neighborhood. Sendera it was built between 1995 to 2004, so that's the homes you're going to see built in that time frame. The average square foot range for houses here are 1,900, but it's a pretty wide range, ranging from about 1,400 to, I think I saw 3,000 square feet, so pretty high up there. We are 20 minutes away from the airport and 20 minutes from downtown with Austin traffic, so it's good to know. We are 7 minutes away from Randall's, that'll be your closest grocery store, and then it's also 7 minutes away from Alma Draft House. There's a lot of shopping and dining in this area. This is really, I mean, it's finished, right? They've stopped building out here, so we're really close to Circle C, but this is a great place. You have to be careful with the location, which we're gonna see as we tour the 3 homes today, to not be so close to the road, right? There's some really nice spots in here that are very quiet, and then not so nice spots that is constant road noise, but you are very close to shopping and dining in this area. I will say the biggest draw, I would think, is the school district. So you are walking distance from Bowie High School, in my opinion, the best high school in Austin ISD. I worked in Austin ISD for 6 years, so I feel qualified to make that judgment call. So I think that's the primary draw for a lot of people moving here. This is also a more affordable neighborhood than if you compare to the homes in Circle C right across the street. You can definitely get homes in the mid 400,000s here, which is going to be really difficult to get in the neighboring subdivisions, at least homes you would want to move into. So Bowie High School and then Covington and Bailey Middle School are your 2 middle school options here also. HOA is $50, sorry. HOA is $50 a month, and tax rate is 2.2% here. So a little bit on the high end. I prefer something under 2%, but it's not terrible, right? It really depends on the value of the home, how much that's going to affect you. But it's a really quiet neighborhood, really peaceful neighborhood. Again, depending on where you're standing with that traffic. Really wide streets, so you can kind of get a sense. I talked long enough, we actually got to the neighborhood. So really beautiful wide streets, very little parking on the streets here. And I feel like the homeowners take a lot of pride in their homes. There's quite a good amount of upkeep with these homes. So yeah, let's go check it out. So we're gonna tour 3 homes. I'll see you at house number 1. So the first house we're checking out today is a 1,755 square foot house, 1-story, 3-bed, 2-bath, listed at $465,000. Originally $500,000, so they've come quite a bit down. It's only been on market for a couple months too, so they're definitely wanting to get this sold if they're doing a pretty big price reduction by $35,000 in just 2 months. This house was built in 1997 and is on 0.161 acres. I'll pan around so you can kind of see where we're at. This is a super quiet street we're on though, and really easy access to get here. So right down there, take a left, and that's the entrance to Sendera right there. So we're super close to Slaughter, but I'm really surprised at how quiet it is because I figured we'd be too close to Slaughter. But yeah, check it out. I just walked in and turned the lights on. This property looks great. Beautiful stone exterior. Right, you can see it's either brick or stone. I always prefer stone. I think this looks really nice. Not a big fan of that dog in the window. I don't think he's a big fan of me either. Really interesting little walkway they built here. All right, let's check it out. So first thing that caught my eye was this engineered hardwood. It's real wood. That looks fantastic. New construction, you're so used to seeing kind of the fake luxury vinyl plank, and so it's nice when you're walking into an older property, seeing the real wood here. It has a much warmer feel to it. We have a coat closet here, and then it's interesting bay windows here, looking out to the front. That looks great. This could actually work for potentially a home office. You have so much space, and so it's an interesting layout because it's very open. So we have this living area here, which is massive. So massive, they put 2 fans in here. Down to the left is the guest wing. We'll go down there in a minute. But then we have this other massive area. So I was walking around thinking, okay, well, which one's the living room? And I think how I would do this is probably maybe a living room here, maybe office space over there by that window, and then having a desk there. This is perfect for a very large dining table. And then down here, more kind of just a hangout lounge area, right? No TV, just chairs, maybe a big table for jigsaw puzzles or board games. That's how I would do it. That's how I envision the space. But it is interesting how much space you have down here, kind of double living room. You can see the kitchen, definitely very old as far as the handles and the, sticky, and the cupboards themselves. They also don't have, okay, this one does. They don't all have rubber stoppers. Pretty small, right? Not the greatest kitchen in the world. I do like that it is a large single basin sink and it looks out to everywhere else. So that's nice when you're doing dishes. You can still carry on a conversation. A very small pantry. You can definitely tell when they updated what they didn't update. I would ask them to rip this out and put in new shelves here, or just get an estimate of how much that would cost to repaint and do new shelves. But no fridge either. You probably already noticed the amount of different colors and paint, so that would be something personally I would do if I was buying this house, is I would negotiate however much it costs to repaint the interior of the house, get that either off the cost or as a concession, because it's cool, right? But I don't want all these colors for how I'm living. Now I will say, I love what they did with this room. Again, repaint, but I love the tile they did down here, these green cabinets with the gold handles. And then we actually have soft close here. Like, I want this there. Maybe not green. I don't know if I'm that courageous. Maybe, I don't know, but this looks great. I want that over there. So that would be my next thing to ask to change. But this looks very updated, right? Updated flush, everything in here. I mean, even just the shower. This all looks brand new in here. So this is my favorite room by far. And they did the sliding door, which I thought was a nice touch. So, very cool guest bathroom. Down to the left, we have our utility room. Not a big fan of this paint. I'll stop talking about paint, but it's a decent sized utility room. And then we have our 2-car garage. Not much to say about this room. We have a water heater behind there. And then an outlet, right? I see one outlet. Can't really see much in here. They still have their stuff in here. It's a good sized garage though. I mean, aside from the garage door to the wall, it's about 8 inches or so. So a decent amount of space. And then you have this walkway up here. And then we have our 2 guest rooms, not carpeted, which I like. And they both have fans, and they both look like they're updated fans. Decent sized bedrooms. Here's a very fun closet. They're like, we got some space, let's put some shelves in here. So we can call that a linen closet. Lots of natural light coming in, especially this area. A ton of windows. Let's check out the backyard, and then we'll go to the primary bedroom. This handle. Hey, we got some squirrels. We're in squirrel country. So, great back patio space. This is massive. I wish they installed some ceiling fans here, but that's not too difficult for you to install after moving in. Really cool natural wood pillars. I'm curious if this came with the house or they installed after the fact. They look great. And then a pretty good sized yard. You can see that you do have a rear neighbor, but they're pretty far away. It looks like we have like a drainage system here. You actually have your own gate to get back there, which is great. I'm assuming there's a pathway back there, but nothing else. You can just sit back here and enjoy the squirrels, right? That's always fun. But it is nice having this large mature tree in your backyard, but it's far enough away I'm not worried it's gonna fall over and hit the house. That'd be my main concern. I do wish there was more grass back here, but you know, that may be something you just can't control, and maybe with the roots of the tree that may be affecting it. I've seen that in some other properties. I'm curious what they were doing over here, because they have it stoned off. I don't know if they had maybe a fire pit over there, I'm not sure. I'll have to ask, but great amount of space. It's 0.161 acres, and then large back patio with not really a rear neighbor. It's quite a nice amount of privacy. Let's check out the primary. Not the biggest, it's okay. It's definitely not the biggest though. I do like that we, again, don't have any carpet to deal with. As a pet owner, I'm a big fan of that. And then love that they, again, did the same thing. This looks brand new. Just the one sink, so that's definitely a bummer. Yeah, it's a bummer. I wish there were 2 sinks in here. I do like that we have the tub and the walk-in shower. The tub is also got jets in it also. And then the natural light coming in with privacy, so I wouldn't even have the blinds down because no one can see inside. And then pretty small closet, but I do like the built-in shelves here at least, so yeah. I like the tile here too, it definitely looks updated. So there's some things in here that they've definitely updated, some others not so much. I definitely would require that they paint the walls or figure out how much that's gonna cost and get that negotiated and done before closing. But I think this is in pretty good shape, and especially for $465,000, it's a really good amount of privacy. I like this layout. It's a 1-story, you don't have to deal with walking up and down stairs every day. Things I don't really like, this kitchen is okay. It's not really exciting me though. I'm curious to see how the other 2 that we're gonna check out today stack up against this. Love the backyard, love that back patio. Love that guest bathroom, which you wouldn't really utilize as the homeowner, but there you have it. And then I'm interested, I like this open concept. It's interesting how to utilize this space. But cool, that was house number 1. Now let's go check out house number 2. All right, so now we're at our second house in Sendera. This is a 1,627 square foot home, still a 3-bed, 2-bath, 1-story. This one's listed at $497,000, so we're about 30 grand higher than the previous house. Built in 1999. This one was originally $515,000. They've dropped it quite recently, actually. I think they just did one big drop down to $497,000. I'm curious to see why it's higher priced than the previous home, because it's a little smaller acreage to it, 0.141. But let's check it out. Pan around. Right off the bat, I will say I can hear the road. Now, we're not next to Slaughter. This is actually Davis Road. Davis kind of cuts in the middle of Sendera. So I don't know if that's coming through on the microphone, but there's definitely a road noise. It's a little distracting. Not a big fan of the blue garage door. Maybe that's just me. I can see the roof though from here. The roof looks like it's in really good condition. Curious when they replaced that. That looks really nice. And then you see we have the stone look here. The stone looks really clean. They did a good job with that. Beautiful job with maintaining the bushes here all the way along this walkway. It must be the soil here because I'm not seeing any grass. Doing well in this area. Again, the blue door. So definitely more of a modern feel to this house. I walked through earlier, turned the lights on, just kind of was looking around at stuff, but you know, the handles are brand new, I can tell, and black throughout. We have black and gold fixtures throughout. The flooring here is LVP, it's luxury vinyl plank, and they maintain that throughout the entire house, so no carpet. We have a gas fireplace over here to the left, which is great for if we have another freeze. I'd prefer a gas fireplace over an electric fireplace because if your electricity goes out, you still can get gas, hopefully, to keep yourself warm. To the right here, kind of a flex space. So we didn't have this in the last house, which is nice. Still really no doorway, so you'd have to add something, but this could work as a home office. Kind of a lonely window here with not a ton of light coming through it because of the stuff around it. That could also be cleaned to help a little bit. We'll go down the guest wing first. So we have coat closet here. And then we have guest bathroom. Not super large. I don't really like that tile choice. I don't know, everything just feels too modern, like they're trying to be modern, but I don't think I'd move to Sendera if I'm looking for a brand new, modern looking house. I kind of preferred that engineered hardwood look from the previous house and the different tile. Downside to this one is they do have a closet for the utility. They don't have a utility room. So that's going to be a little annoying hearing that reverberating through the house. And then we have our second guest bedroom. Guest bedroom's a pretty good size. I really like this guest bedroom. You get a lot more natural light, looking out to the front of the property. That looks great. And then the garage is a really good size too. So about the same width side to side, but you get this much bigger space over here to play with. I definitely preferred the layout of the other house to this one. But I'm not sure now that I'm saying, I'm just speaking my mind as I'm walking through. It was kind of odd having just two large open spaces right next to each other in that last house. So I appreciate, this kind of being a home office-esque area, but really sad amount of light coming in there, way more natural light in that previous house. I'm just thinking out loud as I'm walking through. We have our dining area over here. This backyard and back patio is a shame. It's definitely a huge downside. So first of all, I don't want a sliding door, right? I prefer a door I can open, maybe add a doggy door, make it easier to let the dog in and out. I don't have to slide this whole glass door every time. So personally, that is a downside to me. I don't like glass doors unless it's a massive stackable glass door, making it a wall of window, that's fine. But then we have this really small back patio with no cover, which really surprised me at this price point. We don't have a covered back patio. That's crazy. And then we have a rear neighbor, right? So that's also another downside. So I think the lot placement's a little worse as far as the sound, not just the dogs, I think that's everywhere, but the the road noise from being the front. Even back here, I hear the hum of the cars going by on the road. And then this placement in general, just you're right next to the rear neighbor. I will say they did a good job with replacing the fence. I appreciate they did that. And we do have mature trees in this one also. A little bit of a sloped yard. I prefer more of a flat yard, and really tough to grow some grass out here, it looks like. All right. Stop annoying the dogs with my opinions. Kitchen. They definitely updated the kitchen for the most part. So like I was saying earlier, they're going for a more modern look. And so the listing agent texted me saying, we are painting these, so they're not gonna stay blue. So they're aware that doesn't really fit the modern look, but brand new gas range, 5-burner range. And then we have the sink with this gold faucet. I did notice, I'll get my camera low enough for this. This is crazy. I don't know if you guys can see that. I'm gonna go sideways. It's just like wide open down there. So I'm not sure if someone just hadn't noticed that yet, but I was walking around and that caught my eye. No fridge in this one either. And pantry is okay, it's not great. It's definitely deeper than the last one, but I think it's actually, the other one was wider. And then the primary bedroom, interesting, usually don't have the corner window situation going on there. So I like that. I like that we have more natural light coming in. They really should have cleaned these windows / taken the netting off before they listed. The windows are just not letting in enough light because they never cleaned them. That's an easy fix. Those of you thinking of selling your house, make sure you clean your windows. And then we do have 2 sinks in the primary. That's great. I appreciate that. Lots of natural light coming in here. Closet space is not terribly large, and this one either. They're pretty comparable to the last one with the closet space. So yeah, I think between the two so far, we're gonna check one more out. I definitely like the first one more. I really just like that engineered hardwood. I think it's funny. I think the reason the other one's struggling to sell, even though it's priced lower and on a better location, I would argue, is the paint. It's that paint again. So that's a lesson for you if you're looking for a good deal. Try to find pictures of homes for sale with really crazy paint, and most people get discouraged about that, but you can easily repaint a wall, right? Make it look brand new, and that's an easy thing to fix, right? And something that's not easy to fix is extending your back patio, putting a cover over it, not having a rear neighbor, right? You can't really fix those things. So I think the other house has a lot more going for it. I'm surprised this one is priced this much higher, but I get it. They're trying to go for a more modern look. It's not really working for me, but cool. This was house number 2. Now we're gonna check out house number 3. See you over there. All right, well, this was gonna be the third house that I show you, but I can't get in the front door. I just texted the listing agent and see what's going on. I'm unlocking the deadbolt, but it feels like there's another bolt on the inside of the door and I can't open it. So what I'm gonna do instead is kind of talk through this property and then have my editor put some photos up as I'm talking of the listing online. So at least you can kind of get a sense of the interior, but I apologize for that. So this house is listed at $515,000. This is another 3-bed, but 2.5 baths. We have a half bath for this one. 2,191 square feet. It is a 2-story, but quite a bit larger than what previous 2 we just saw. And on a bigger acreage, it's on 0.231. We'll pause from the photos and so you can just kind of look around where we are right now. And so we are in a cul-de-sac, which is great. No through traffic, except you got slaughter right there, so it's really loud. Typically a cul-de-sac's nice because you don't have through traffic and you have nothing but traffic over there, but that's why it's a larger acreage, is because we're on kind of a wedge lot with no side neighbors, so that is nice. But okay, you can get back to the photos. Information about this one, so this was built in 2000, so it's definitely newer. We're also on the south side of Slaughter, and so it's the same side as Bowie High School. I can actually hear the metronome beeping from the marching band practicing right now, which is not the best thing to hear when you're chilling out in your front porch. But it is nice if you have kids going to Bowie, super easy. This is the closest to the actual school, 5-minute walk down the road to get to school. Information about this specific home. Sorry, I'm going off script. I wasn't expecting to not be able to walk inside. So it is saying we have a practical kitchen peninsula. Hopefully you're seeing that. 3-bed, 3-bath, upstairs primary. Ooh, that's not great. Double vanity, so that's good. We have 2 sinks. And then we have a separate garden tub and shower. And then you have an upstairs game room. So I'll say right off the bat, the upstairs primary is going to be something that's going to be a struggle for selling down the road. So something to consider, even if you're okay with having the primary bedroom upstairs. A lot of people aren't, and I can tell you just from me being a realtor, helping a lot of people buy houses, a lot of people have said, I don't even want to look at a house that doesn't have the primary downstairs. So that's not even in the search results. So something to be aware of, right? That is going to limit the pool of people that would buy the house in the future. But not saying you can't sell the house, just it may be an issue. I really wish we didn't have that road noise. It's definitely something that's hurting this house. Yeah, so there you have it. Sorry, y'all. I was hoping to get inside. I don't know why the key isn't letting me get in there, but overall thoughts of walking around Sendera, going to at least those 2 homes. I think the first home is my favorite. I don't like coming to a neighborhood that was built, 25, 30 years ago, and then them trying to update it. I want that older feel, right? I don't want it crazy old. Like, I want certain things updated, like paint. I would like to be a little more updated. But yeah, that second house where it was just, the floor was LVP, and I don't know, it just lost a lot of its character. Like, I don't know if you saw, you probably didn't, but in both homes, they still have the jack for the telephone because they were built in the 90s, right? So it's just little things like that where I'm like, oh, that's cool, right? It's a little reminder of the past. But that second one's trying to hide it, it felt like, and make it feel like a brand new house, which it's not. So I will say for this neighborhood, it is a really good price point if you want to get into Southwest Austin, be part of the school system going into Bowie and Bailey Middle School. If you're trying to get into this neighborhood or this area overall, I think Sendera is an affordable option. You know, definitely when you compare it to Circle C and those other neighborhoods, which I have videos on if you want to check those out. This one's definitely a good option just to get your foot in the door if price is kind of the only thing holding you back. But I really like these neighborhoods. You definitely need to be careful to not hit road noise, right? That first one, we didn't have any road noise, but yeah, you just got to be careful with the location there and not let paint dissuade you from purchasing a house or putting an offer in. So I hope you got some value out of this. If you are interested in buying a house, you can always give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, or schedule a Zoom call. Love to help you and your family find a great home, great deal, and just be your personal real estate advisor, helping you maybe see the pros and maybe some of the cons that you maybe get too excited for a house and you're not seeing everything, right? That's part of my job, is to be your advisor and help you make a clear and confident decision. But yeah, reach out if I can help at any time. And until next time, I hope to see you guys around town.